So today, guys, I bring you the broken meta 4-3-2-1. This tactic scored over 250 goals at its peak, and trust me, you need to try it. It's tested with all levels of teams as well, so any save you've got, it's got to work. Let's get into the video. So, we're going to kick things off with Manchester City, the powerhouse of the video. I want to quickly say, if you do enjoy the tactics on this channel, please do leave a like and definitely consider subscribing, because we've got a whole year worth of content. We really have. It's going to be action-packed, loads of stuff going on, and if you enjoy live streams, definitely come and check this one out, because the vibes are absolutely immaculate. A load of you guys already come over, but you don't want to miss them. But with Manchester City, we had a very, very good season, actually dominating the Premier League with 106 points over Liverpool, a very convincing season, only failing to win 3 of the games we did play out of the potential 38 games. Now, in terms of goal scorers, you look at Erling Haaland and you think, do you know what? Is he human? I don't think he is human. 105 goals from Erling Haaland. Absolutely incredible stuff. Bernardo Silva with 42 assists. Now, he wasn't playing on the wing, as it's quite common sense, so that might be a little bit of a way of why that is happening, but still, very, very impressive. Ederson nearly with 100% pass completion, 145 league goals, only 16 goals conceded, and although we were worst at yellow cards, 0 red cards. If that's not enough for you, we also did win the Champions League, the Super Cup, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and the Community Shield, making it 6 trophies in one season. Now over to the team stats, it's more of what we didn't dominate, to be honest, as we do win most points per game, most goals, most shots for at 741, fewest shots against at 165, most possession at 60%, the fewest conceded at 16, and the most clean sheets coming in at 26. So realistically, pure dominance. The Data Hub is going to be our best friend as we actually edge towards 4 goals a game, 3.82 to be exact, conceded at 0.42, nearly 20 shots a game, a pass completion of 90.53, and I've never seen this before, but a bang on 80% tackle win ratio, so every element of the beautiful game has been covered. And for those of you that do want to inspect the title, see, you know, what's going on example, I am going to show you this right now. So, as you can see, Erling Haaland is going to pick up majority of the goals, coming in at 105. Then you got Phil Foden with 38, 32 for Jackie Grealish, 27 for Bernardo Silva, absolute baller, 13 for De Bruyne, Rodri with 9, 8 for Diaz, Walker with 5, 5 for Gvardiol, 5 for Kovacic, 2 for Nunes, and if you add all of these up down here, it does total, I believe, to 252 across the entire season. Now, a lot of these players like Foden, Grealish, Bernardo Silva, they are all players sort of more centralised areas, so I think I honestly got the best out of them playing in that area. I don't necessarily know if you wanted to use these players out wide, they would match these stats, but honestly, a very, very good season, and the assist looks absolutely incredible. I mean, we're talking about 25 from Gvardiol. Now, he was playing as a fullback, I will say, and the fullbacks are very aggressive in this system. 42 for Silva, 25 for De Bruyne, Grealish with 23, 19 for Walker, 16 for Phil Foden, Haaland with 14, loads of players getting involved. Now, I know we are one of the best teams in the game, but I like to include at least one of these teams in the video, preferably even 2, just to really showcase what it's like in different leagues. And also, a lot of you guys do either play as these teams, or you've been playing for sort of 3 to 4 years, and you've got a very similar standard, although it be different players. Now, over to Bulgaria, and a team predicted in 7th place. That is going to be Arda, and we have come out and absolutely stormed the league, playing 35, winning 28, drawing 4, and only losing 3 games. It's going to be Preslav coming in with 25 goals, and Okaze, I believe so you say that, coming in with 18 assists. 98 league goals scored, only 21 conceded. Again, picking up a few yellow cards, but on the second occasion, 0 red cards, which is the only thing that really matters in terms of the booking section. The Bulgarian First League, obviously I've discussed that, we dominated that, and we also pick up the Bulgarian Cup, so pretty much winning everything we possibly could have done. A fantastic season with a mid-table side. Going over to the stats, you're really going to get a good indicator of what to expect, even with a team at this level. So 98 goals, 545 shots for, fewer shots against, we're still maintaining that excellent level of possession at 62%, the fewest conceded at 21, and the most clean sheets coming in at a very good 20. Data Hub, what have we got? 2.8 goals a game, very impressive. 0.6 conceded a game, very impressive. Just over 15 shots, I say just over, actually edging towards 16 shots a game, a pass completion of 90.57, and an attacker win ratio just shying short of 80%. But do you know what? A lot of similarities between playing as the powerhouse and a real sort of underdog team, and that the only real difference is the amount of goals we are scoring. Defensively, we're still very solid, still putting out good shots per game, the possession and pass completion exactly the same. But obviously, when you've not got Erling Haaland up front, you've got to score less goals. Up next, a team predicted to finish in 19th place in the Spanish second division. That is going to be Eldense. Eldense? I don't know how you exactly say it, but that is going to be the team. And the reason why I like to go in these wild and wacky leagues, not always England all the time, is because I sim a lot of tactics. It gets a little bit boring just simming in England. So do you know what? It's a pleasure to come over here. It sort of inspired me maybe to do a save as well in this league, as we are going to take home the league title, get promotion to the main Spanish division. It's going to be Eddie Salcedo, who is an absolute baller, by the way, with 32 goals. Alex Martinez with 25 assists. Again, really good goal scoring output, 106 goals, 38 goals conceded. Unfortunately, we didn't do the double, but it is Barcelona who we lose to in the Spanish Cup. But taking a team predicted to finish from here to the top, sensational. Going over to the team stats, we are going to look at a very staggering, obviously these top two we're going to take home, but a very staggering 603 shots, fewer shots against at 271. On this occasion, not the best possession-wise, but still edging towards that 60 mark at 58% of the ball. And also we are going to, I believe, possibly tie. We are going to tie here with Elche joint on 38. So a very good season, considering especially we are predicted to finish in 19th place. Hub-wise, again, still very impressive. Incredibly happy we kept under a goal conceded. That was my main aim of this tactic, really. Still scoring way over 2 goals a game. Tackle win ratio, edging towards that 79, but realistically 78. But around that 78 to 80% is what you're going to be expecting. Pass completion, bang on, 90.6. And again, a decent amount of shots coming in at 14.3 every single match. And lastly, and I'm sorry to all of the Rangers people watching, because I know I've got a fair few friends in the community that do support Rangers, but it is going to be Celtic in the Scottish division where we actually go invincible. 35 wins, 3 draws, absolute Scottish dominance over there. And it is going to be David Turnbull coming in with 46 goals, Greg Taylor with 20 assists, 141 league goals, only 13 conceded, and 0 red cards. And it's actually going to be a treble, as we also win the Scottish Cup against Aberdeen and the Viaplay Cup against Hibernian. I do butcher names. Please correct me. Please correct me. Unfortunately, Champions League, Europa League didn't exactly go our way. But do you know what? A Scottish treble, we've got to take it. And this potentially is one of the more outrageous stat lines I've ever seen in a game. I mean, most points per game at 2.84, most goals at 141, most shots at 735, fewer shots against at 174, pass completion 91%, possession 69% possession. 69. Now, I know you can get good levels of possession in the Scottish League as one of the dominant teams, but we're talking close to 70% of the ball across the entire season. That's what we're on. That's the sort of level this can produce. Most dribbles made at 630, fewest conceded at 13, and the most clean sheets coming in at a very good 28. Data hub-wise, again, it's going to be rock solid at the back. 0.34 conceded, 3.71 goals a game, an incredible pass completion, getting on towards 20 shots a game, and attacker win ratio, I believe at an all-time low, actually, but still very good at 77.27. Honestly, mind-blowing stuff. Of course, we're going to watch some goals. The first one is going to be a 6-0 win over in the Scottish League. And you know what? This team were absolutely cooking right from the get-go. A great ball into the box. Carter Vickers back stick. Great ball in from McGregor as Carter Vickers now driving. And I want you to pay attention to the fantastic runs in the box. We're going to have a great run here from Kyogo. But also, we've got several options here. And also a good cutback option. Carter Vickers is going to cut it back, I believe. He is into Ralston. He's going to take a touch inside and go alone. Completely catches Clark off guard. And a fantastic finish from a fantastic player. Turnbull, ball in the box. And there's going to be another bit of set-piece action. And to be honest, this team clearly can't deal with set-pieces. That's quite obvious now. As Taylor plays it into McGregor. Again, great link-up play down the left-hand side. And Turnbull, I'm going to call him the Celtic Lewandowski. It might be a big statement from me there. But you know what? He's got similar attributes to the way that he plays, and McGregor goes alone again, and yeah, it's dominance, it really is. Just to really show you guys the level we're working at, this is going to be the semi-final of the FA Cup and a 5-0 win against a very strong Arsenal team, as it is going to be Guardio, the man who was so far pushed up in his system. You can see him here actually making a great run. Rodrigo is going to play it into Bernardo, back inside into Grealish, short sweet passing, and Arsenal simply can't comprehend what is going on in this game, as we are absolutely running away with it. Guardio down the left-hand side, a beautiful ball in, and that's where his assists come from. Getting the ball in the box to a player like Erling Haaland, you've got to rack up the assists, as again, great link-up play into Bernardo Silva, going to go down the line, back into Phil Foden, and the link-up play, I can't even describe it. It's absolutely incredible as we just keep pummeling this weak Arsenal team. When I say weak, I mean very low morale team, and Grealish nailing the coffin. Utter dominance. So we are now at the part of the video which you've come for. That is going to be the tactic breakdown. Again, 3 variants today, so this is now going to be the perfect time to leave a like on the video and definitely subscribe. And I would recommend you check out the entire video so you can get your hands on all 3 of these variants, because they all offer something a little bit different, which complete the perfect 4-3-2-1. Now going over to the player roles, we're going to waste no time today. A super keeper is going to come in simply on support on the default instructions. A wingback on the right is going to come in on support on tackle harder, a very aggressive wingback in this team who naturally is going to get further forwards based off his default instructions. A ball-playing defender on the right on tackle harder, matched with the left side also being on tackle harder. Now I do want to say, if you are picking up too many bookings, maybe a red card here and there with your centre-backs, if they've got like a lot level, you know, a very high level of aggression, or they're just not very disciplined, you can take these instructions off, but I did realise having this on had made all the difference in winning that ball back. The wing back on the left is going to be exactly the same as on the right. So nice and simple. This back four is very structured. So you're going to have 2 ball playing defenders who aren't going to necessarily get that much further forward really. But the wing backs are going to get forward. They are going to cause issues. And essentially, that is where a lot of the assists actually did come from. In the middle, we're going to start off this midfield trio of a DM on support, simply on tackle harder. Up next is going to be a central midfield player on support, on take more risks and hold position. Essentially, I want this guy really to pick up the ball in one sort of central area and just pluck passes out, to be honest. So, again, we probably could have even maxed out past that 69% possession without this instruction being on, because this guy was picking up the ball and literally just pinging it around, and that's essentially what I wanted from him in that team anyway. The Mezzala is going to come in on support, simply on the default, does not need to be attacking because we've got a very attacking front three anyway, and this midfield is a nice balanced sort of way of playing a narrow system. You've got one player who is to protect the back four, you've got one player here who is simply going to get the ball and look for great passes, and one very attacker-minded player who is simply going to move into channels, roam about, and cause all issues. Going up to the front two, we are going to have a shadow striker on the left, on runway with the ball, and exactly the same on the right-hand side. So essentially, when the player has the ball, this might actually drift out into more like a 4-3-3, to be honest with you, but it is a 4-3-2-1, as that, you know, not both players can run wide with the ball at the same time, because this instruction is when they have got the ball. Obviously, 2 players can't have the ball at the same time. So, realistically, you're going to have one of your players sort of drifted out here. The other one is still going to be centralised, which is great, because if the shadow striker does obviously run about with the ball up here, for example, you are essentially going to have 2 strikers almost in the box, and vice versa. So it's a very good way of playing football, and I can see why it's so popular. And to finish it off, the advanced forward on attack, simply on shoot more often. Now, going over to the team instructions, I want to quickly thank all of the names coming down the screen. These are going to be new or existing Patreon members. We've got over 700 people in there now. Yeah, 700 people. It's growing rather quickly. You might want to join when you can, because there's over 8 perks. Absolute madness going on. Access to all 3 of these tactics. Early video release, early tactic release. You get football shirt giveaways, FM giveaways, one-on-one tactical help, mate. There's so many perks. Go and check it out. The link is going to be in the description and also probably in the comments. Do come over and check it out. But starting things off, it is going to actually be based off a gegenpress style on the positive mentality, just to clarify that. In terms of the attack and width, we are going to go to fairly narrow, because it is a fairly narrow tactic, and to be honest, having it on standard was a little bit too far pushed out for me. It really suited me on that fairly narrow. Approach play is going to be pass into space. We're going to play out from the back, because that's how you maintain these excellent levels of possession. We're going to overlap left and overlap right, really getting them fullbacks involved in the game, because they did play a real crucial part of the success of this tactic. we're going to go with much shorter when it comes to the passing directness. The tempo is going to be maxed out to higher, and the last couple of instructions are going to be my go-to mixed crosses and work ball into the box. So again, little heads up, if you're trying to score even more goals than what we scored, you could untick work ball into the box. Now, sometimes this is good if you're struggling to score a goal mid-game, but realistically, we're putting up at least sort of 3.5 goals a game. I'd keep it on because clearly it works. In transition, we're going to go very meta-based. It is a meta tactic. We're going to go with counter press, counter, distribute to anybody across the back line, and on this occasion we are going to roll the ball out because I don't want to take as many risks. I want to just basically want to get it to anyone across the back line, play it to that DM in the midfield, then maybe to the central midfield player who can then take the risk. But obviously at that point we're going to be fairly decently up the pitch anyway, so this is the perfect in transition tab. Lastly, very meta again, the standard line, the high press line of engagement. We're going to max out the trigger press and also prevent short goalkeeper distribution. It doesn't get much more meta than this. And we'll watch one last absolute pasted in the Premier League against Burnley, an 8-0 win, a great set piece there from Bernardo Silva, who plays it into Rodrigo. A bit more of a sort of link-up play now goal, winning it back very aggressively. Great through into Rodrigo, and you know what? Vitinho's going to hang his head in shame as that is shocking from him. An easy goal for Haaland, as it is now going to be Ruben Diaz pushing up the field into Grealish, a little flick on into Erling Haaland, and when this man gets in front of the goal, the goalkeeper may as well say, do you know what? I'm going home, as Phil Foden is now going to show what he can do, finally, with a fantastic set piece. Erling Haaland thumps in a penalty against Muric, who I believe is the City lone goalkeeper, if I'm right in saying, maybe permanent now. A bit of a link-up play from the throw-in into Jackie Grealish, and again, the finishes we're putting on is just absolutely incredible. And the great thing about this tactic is not only that it can play short, elegant, short, sweet passing play, but you can go more direct with it. You're not afraid to get the ball in. You're not afraid to have individual runs like that. And that makes games. It really does. Of course, going over to the attack and variant. Now, this is definitely a tactic too. Potentially, you could take into a game if you are playing as a powerhouse, or switch to if you are desperate for a goal. The sweeper keeper is going to remain on exactly the same. The wing-back, again, exactly the same. In fact, the back line remains exactly the same. So I'm not going to waste your time too much on it. In terms of the player roles, you won't be looking at this and saying, Josh, there's not too much difference. There's a lot more difference in the team instructions, so don't worry, there are changes coming in. The big change, honestly, in this whole team is going to be this Mezzala, who now goes to attack, but also the deep lying playmaker. So we've scrapped the DM, and we've brought in another player who can take risky passing options. Obviously, a deep lying playmaker essentially is a deep player who picks up the ball and looks for progressive passes, and we've got him on more direct passes because we are trying to get a goal quite quickly, and also tackle harder. The central midfield player again is going to be on take more risks, dribble more, and hold position. And also these players are going to remain exactly the same because you can't really add too many more instructions. Team instructions, however, there are going to be a couple of changes. The real big change is going to be the mentality. The mentality is now going to go to attacking. That is right, an attacking mentality. This is going to remain the same. Most of this actual tab does look very similar, but the real key one is going to be that be more expressive. Now, having this on is going to make your players just have a lot more of attack and freedom, and when you've got that in this team or any team you're playing as with this tactic, the runs you see are absolutely incredible, and it just gives everyone complete freedom, and you are simply going to score goals. It's as blunt as that, simple as that. Playing this way, you're going to bag goals. In transition, the one big change, distribute quickly. Now, this is more designed for if you're in a game and you need a goal. If you're going into a game at 0-0, you don't really need this on. But again, if you're chasing a game, make sure you've got it on. Now, out of possession, I didn't want to go with the higher line because I felt it was a bit of an asking to get spanked, basically. You've got to concede goals realistically. So the only change that's going to come in here is going to be the get stuck in. Just to have a little bit more fight in the team and really get stuck in. And now lastly, of course, a tactic to go in 2 games with if you are playing as a real underdog and you're going in. For example, if I wasn't simulating that game, I would have used this tactic against Barcelona in that Spanish Cup. This is a much more restricted 4-3-2-1, which also can be used to seal out games. The goalkeeper is going to remain exactly the same. The wingback is going to be on defend, on tackle harder. Ball playing defenders, again, default, but with the additional of tackle harder on exactly the same. And also the wingback. So if you just say to yourself, the entire back line is all on defend, simply with tackle harder. Now, although they're not going to get forwards and create chances, essentially, in this variant of the tactic, we are relying on very risk-free football, short passing, very short passing actually, and just trying to really drain the life out of the opposition. A DM is going to be in the team on defend, on tackle harder, again, a rock to protect that back four. A central midfield player comes in on defend again, also on pass it shorter, take more risks, tackle harder, and mark tighter. So essentially, he's going to take risky passes, but they're not going to be necessarily long balls over the top. So it's okay playing this way, having a little bit of a risk element for one of the players because the Mezzala is now gone. We've got another central midfield player on support, simply on pass it shorter. The front three are going to remain exactly the same, or the front two, and then the one, whatever you want to say. They are going to remain the same because if we did take a few of these elements away, so if we had advanced playmakers, for example, it's going to be way too negative, not enough players pushed up to even get a goal. So these three are going to remain untouched, but a lot of changes when it comes down towards the defence and the midfield of the team. In possession, and now we have gone back to a positive mentality, balanced would be too negative, simply as that. Fairly narrow remains exactly the same. Pass into space. We're not going to look for overlap left or right on this occasion because we don't really have anyone that we want to get too far up the field and get stuck in like that. We're still going to play out from the back. However, on this occasion, it is going to be much shorter, as we obviously did have, but this is going to be dribble less. Now, this is on, and I always have this on if I am trying to play possession, because essentially it makes players... I'm going to sound dumb here, but it makes players dribble less. It's quite common sense, but basically you're not going to have players running off doing their own thing. They're just simply going to play the ball around, and in a tactic that you're trying to just dominate possession in, that's literally what you want. And alongside of that, we're going to have work ball into the box and mixed crosses. Transition, a couple of changes. Counter press is going to remain. We're not going to counter or hold shape. We're going to simply leave it blank. We're going to slow the pace down and again, roll the ball out to anybody across the back line. For possession, we're going to go with that standard defensive line, the high pressing line of engagement, much more often, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and we're actually going to stay on feet on this occasion. And that is going to give you guys 3 meta 4-3-2-1s. It's an absolute blast making this because it's one of my actual favourite tactics. Little fun fact. If you guys have enjoyed today's video, please do leave a like, drop a little subscription because there's tons of more content coming. Definitely come over to the Twitch because we're live either midday or afternoons. I switch it up so I cater for literally everyone. And I'll see you boys in the next video. But you know what? Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a beverage. I'll see you in the next one. If you guys did enjoy today's video, here are going to be a couple more videos I'm sure you're going to love. Down here, you're going to see my previous video, and here is going to be a video I personally recommend for you guys to check out. Trust me, you're going to love it.